Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to be hosted, to be visited by Advocate Mariam Mbabali.
Thank you, Tony.
Now, like I was saying, Advocate Mariam Mbabali is one of those exceptional advocates. And for me, she challenges me every day. And when we thought of the right person to bring, since these are Lego Tech Dialogues, we couldn't miss Advocate Mariam Mbabali. And I'll tell you reasons why. Not long ago, I think 3 weeks ago, thereabout, we lost a young man.
Oh, yeah. You told me.
We lost a young man, a lawyer who had finished LDC. He had not yet enrolled. But I knew this young man personally. And the friends around him alleged that he had been complaining in the recent past of stress because of too much work. He had just left LDC not long ago, 2020, 2021, 2022, thereabout, according to the information we have. Now, that was very, very depressing and very disturbing. And it's the reason why we felt you need to come and speak to us, because you have chosen to focus on mental health. Every day, we are in the grind. We are pushing to the brim, yeah? Because the system has taught us that you must work hard, you must wake up very early in the morning, you must be on that PC and answer emails with turnaround time, 30 minutes. And then we have all these apps. The only time we relax is maybe when we are on TikTok.
And that's not relaxing.
So there is a lot going on. And we feel that it is important that we bring on a person to speak to us. And we are really very grateful. I know that Advocate Mbabali is one of the busiest lawyers this city has. And I also know how expensive your billable hours are. But I also want to tell the members listening in that Mbabali Mariam has offered us pro bono
for this session.
For this session.
No, this is my community. Yeah, I show up for my people.
That's so kind of you. That's so kind of you. People are struggling. People are going through a lot.
Yeah, they are.
People are going through a lot. There is a lot of pressure. The only thing is that for us lawyers, we cover it up with our jackets. And that's why we end up losing life. Many go silent, departures. So it's why when we looked around for the right topic, we could not find a better topic than mental health in the age of Lego AI, opportunities, ethics, and safeguards. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting a lot of time, because Advocate Mariam has given us 1 hour, and I promise to keep within 1 hour. Mariam, today is your birthday, and we want to say happy birthday on behalf of Lego Tech Dialogues and the listeners. And because it's your birthday, we had to adjust our time. Normally, this discussion starts at 7, but we had to make an exception and say, let's just start at 6. Thank you for coming. I want to take the pleasure in introducing Advocate Mariam Mbabali. her CV is too long, but because she has given us 1 hour, therefore, I will not use the 30 minutes to read through her CV. So I will summarize it. Mariam Mbabali is the managing partner of Kabuzire, if I can mention it well, Kabuzire Mbabali and Company Advocates. She's a Harvard Law-trained lawyer. She's an advocate of the High Court of Uganda. But most importantly, Mariam chose a particular area of service in her practice. Some people will call it a side gig, but I think she enjoys it more than the main gig because I've seen her on so many platforms talking mental health. So Mbabali has a lot of passion in mental health. She has had a lot of discussions on this discourse on different forums. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Tony. And I'm very happy to be here.
Wow.
Maybe just to add on a little, I immersed the mental health in the practice. I saw long ago the need that those two are one and the same. So I went in and I did, I'm a trauma-informed practitioner in mental health. So it's immersed in the legal practice.
Wow.
Because you can't distinguish one who is the patient and the practitioner. So it's immersed in the practice.
So we are talking about a person who has gone an extra mile to actually do training in this particular field.
Yes, I have.
Thank you for veering off the main road.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did a diploma. Yeah.
So, Mariam, when we talk about mental health, everybody defines mental health in his own way.
Yeah.
Why? Because we are not taught mental health at law school. No? We are taught health and the law.
Yeah.
The health and the law I learned at Makerere by Professor Ben was never talked about mental health. We are talking about health of different other things.
Health and the law.
Health and the law. We are talking about food, NCDs, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you definitely come in with what we call a new vibe, with a new script from an informed point of view, practical point of view. So for starters, when we talk about mental health, from where you stand, from the experience point of view, what would you want an ordinary lawyer like me to understand what's mental health?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's a brilliant, the best way to start in understanding mental health. So just like any other disease that you could have, for you not to complicate it, the way you could have, pain in your limbs, pain anywhere else in the body. So we are accustomed to give names for other diseases, but we don't understand the brain. So mental health, as you see it, it comes from the brain and its functioning, the neuroscience behind the functioning of the brain. How are you using your brain? Where from childbirth? So people all go saying mental health, and it's very wide, but it has so many segments. The mental health will look at just from when a child is inside the mother's belly, how the womb, inside the womb of the mother, how that fetus experiences the emotions of the mother who's carrying. From that point is when mental health starts with the growing fetus. So you'll find other people from when they're born. So you look at the neuroscience, how the brain sees it, how the functioning of the brain. Some people are born just using the left side of their brain. And because of that, there are certain things that the brain hasn't fully functionally developed to enjoy. So many things start manifesting from trauma, then lifestyle, then we have AI, and the brain is fully loaded. It's now adopting with new ways of functioning that weren't previously. So then you look at health. That is the health of the brain, the whole, everything happening from up here. So just to say it briefly, that's what it is, mental health.
Wow.
Yes.
Mental health. Every day, because of Lego tools now, the lawyer of 2000, the millennial, is completely on a different script with the lawyer now, the one we call the alpha generation.
Yeah.
The lawyer of my generation, I'm not very old, but at least I'm older than the people I lead here.
That's some comfort.
Yeah, so I have a lot of passion in reading my hardcore books, hard copies. My lawyers here, they don't read hard copies. They prefer the soft copies. I prefer sitting down with a pen or sitting on my PC and drafting pleadings. Okay? My lawyers are comfortable using the Lego AI tools. And because they prefer using the Lego AI tools, they're exposed to many of them. Even those where firms do not have particular vetted AI tools, they have a lot on stock. Gemini, DeepSeek, Cloud, Grok, ChatGPT, which is all the levels, you know. So there is this exposure to these tools. And it means that the lawyer spends more time on his phone or on his PC now working rather than on a hardcore book or something. And speaking from the concept of mental health, from where you sit, now here is my question. How are tools, gadgets, affecting our mental health from your experience?
Okay. Thank you, Tony. That's a very good question. I think it wouldn't do it justice if we started from how they're affecting.
Yeah.
From where I'm standing, I'm an 80s girl. We tend to think...
That makes the two of us.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we tend to think, my generation was better than the other generation.
Super.
But I think it's all complementary. The more things have evolved, the more they have actually remained the same. Those who were born in generations before us are also looking at the 80s and are like, what? Are you just doing that? But when you look at it that way, then you're not going to fully appreciate everything that comes with it. The AI tools are very brilliant.
Yeah.
But it has its pros and its cons. And we are now it's not a question of, AI, lawyering and AI versus lawyer. No, it's already here.
Yeah.
And it has its very good advantages. One, I'll tell you, lawyering as we know it, I still believe it's interpersonal. So the tools are taking away that engagement, that lawyering in itself, the human interaction, because now people will go, like when we're going to have this meeting, we could have just said, let's tune in any of the AI tools. But I think this is still important, the human interface. So hiding behind the AI tools, we miss out on reading the emotions. And all we are dealing with emotions. Lawyering, be it whatever case you're doing, whether you're doing a land issue, someone on the other side is aggrieved. Whether it's a criminal matter, whether it's a family matter, or it's estate planning you're doing, every time you're not interfacing with the other party, then you miss out in the human interactions with reading the full emotions. of the whole case. So me, I believe, yes, that is one of the things that it has affected. But however, on the flip side of things, us in our times, we're running around like headless chicken, spending a lot of time. Now, back in the day, I opened my farm in 2008. And when I sat in the farm, people who told me they're going to come, there's so many clients, there's so many relatives, they didn't show up. So in the farm, you're the managing partner, you're the lawyer, you're the advisor, you're all these things. You have to do research, you have to see the client, then go type everything from A to Z. Yeah. But now with all these tools, the research time is limited. You get to tap into the tools and then you enjoy it. And then the time is limited in which you are going to do the turnaround time, where you would tell the client that, oh, okay, come back on Friday when it's a Monday. Then you say like, no, actually, tomorrow we could have a meeting and have a follow-up. Then I'll have a document ready. That's an advantage. So we can't have our cake and eat it. But however, we must know how to apply the tools and how to merge the two in order to live harmoniously. Yeah.
Wow. Such a very deep analysis.
Yeah.
I love where you come from, the angle where you come from. The ability for us to sit down and complement these things. Mm-hmm. The ability to find that thin line between the gadgets and our mental health.
Yeah. And that is real, because now what's happening, like in our profession, we qualify under mental health, we are high functioning productivity personnel. So, and by nature, we want the whole demeanor. So you find somebody with a phone, with a laptop, with like 4 gadgets at the same time, listening to the podcast while they're typing, tomorrow's rule while they're doing research at the same time, and not having time to stop back because now imagine what's happening to the brain as you're trying to do all that at the same time. So one person is missing out, either the kind of work that you're bringing out or the person that you're attending to. You know what I mean? And AI is also, and what I like about it, it's garbage in, garbage out. There are things that I see, somebody files a WSD of 200 pages. You're like, but that's what AI is doing.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, no one would have such a WSD, but that goes to show that people are not paying attention. They're using all these gadgets irresponsibly. So it's the same to your mental health. You have to find time to take the breaks, to tell yourself, is this really necessary? Do I really have to be, the break shouldn't be TikTok, because TikTok is now feeding into other high productive issues at the back end of your brain. When you think, oh, I'm relaxing, just because you're not lawyering in the moment, even TikTok is not relaxing. You're feeding into other information, another source of information. People are marketing, they're either making jokes, and the whole light, you've been using the light from AM to PM. So the disadvantage and the health effects are all coming full frontal, and you're not paying attention to the effect of that. It's stressful. Then before you know it, you're having less sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, you're having less sleep, and depending on how old you are, you're running on 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep. But when you find out what exactly you are doing, it doesn't lead you to the bank account, because you're too busy doing nothing and nothing at all. Everything and nothing. Because the gadgets are giving you that whole, I am busy, move. There's a way in which I think whoever develop all these apps, they are meant to keep you hooked onto them.
True that.
The moment you touch one, it's like dopamine just goes all over your brain and your whole body. You want more of that. And they are also tricking your brain to say, oh, depending on the topic you search. Have you ever seen? Suddenly everything is about that. If you're watching a match, then they're going to bring all the matches in front of you. So when are you going to rest? So that's that side effect and the responsibility around using AI and all the tools and the social media in tandem with your own health.
Wow. Yeah. A story is told that the people who developed Android they gave it to us for free. And we never knew we were actually the product. And that's
We're the
why,
guinea pigs.
and that's why when you're on TikTok, you're not paying. Is it a charity organization? No. When you're on Facebook, you're not paying. Is it a charity organization? No. So how do they make the money? Me and you are the products.
Yeah.
So, and I think now that for me gives me another angle for the listeners, and that is we are products of these social media sites.
Yeah.
And we are duty bound to take care of our health amidst these processes. Because when we don't do that, then we are selling our mental health, which is depreciating our output. Now, you and me know that the training we get in law schools, which has not changed to date, is adversarial in nature.
Yeah.
As lawyers, we are taught to fight. That is it. And up to today, the last time I checked, alternative dispute resolution is not yet a course unit, surprisingly, in universities.
Yeah. I lecture at the LDC. I do part-time. And then in arbitration, I think the other week we're lecturing arbitration at the Law Development Center.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Because at LDC we are there to impact scale.
Yeah.
We assume that knowledge was already given
Imparted,
to you
yes.
in your
In
university.
your LLB.
And they're looking at you like, huh? Yeah, they're asking for more and more. And you're like, oh, no, you got to research. You imagine that they already have the knowledge. So
surprisingly, no. And that's where my question comes in from. In an environment where lawyers are taught to battle, okay? And we have these fancy names which feed into the narrative. Defense counsel.
yes.
You are there to defend, okay? From where you sit and your experience and the talking to lawyers and so on and so forth, how would you advise a litigation lawyer in the work-life balance?
Work-life balance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. First of all, I'm one of those people who think that work-life balance in itself is a sham. Like, I'm a mother, I'm a business owner, you can't be in those so many places. But when you say work-life balance, when I'm doing life as a lawyer, I'm working, but I'm still doing life. So you're asking me, what's the balance?
Yeah.
Must it be a balance? Are you able to be at home and say, oh, okay, my wife needs me to be at home. We need to do this work-life balance thing. When their needs are not met, Tony, your wife is going to look at you like you have two heads. They would rather you go back and work for as long as you can't put food on their table.
Exactly.
So the balance is everything is apportioned, just enough time. My kids are not going to look at me because they are hoping I'm going to come back and spend those many hours at home. No, but we've learned to we have learned to depend on systems. That is what's working for me. And at least from where I'm seated, my kids are teenagers, but they depend on systems. You take the help when it's given to you. Don't try to play, macho. When you have a nanny, take the help. You're not going to have the husband who is going to tell you, oh, I admire you, Mariam, as a lawyer, but I don't eat anywhere else, but I want your food. Oh, okay, and you love my career as well. Guess what? When I come back home, she's going to be tired. So where are you going to get the balance when you want me to do the cooking? Because you don't eat anyone else's food but your wife. That doesn't going to happen. So to me, the work-life balance, the balance comes in the sense of take the help, be patient with one another, and be realistic and accommodative. And these tools came to also try to give you that balance. So in our times where we didn't have all these tools, then you went back home still doing the research. because, you had to catch up with the case. So when you're telling a litigation person or a normal practitioner, this balance. So I have most of the lawyers in my chambers were more female than male, intentionally. But, they have families. They're going to go to maternity leave. And even when they come back from maternity, they're still having infants to feed. So you still want that person to show up as a practitioner to give you 100% and give their spouses at home 100%. It's not going to happen. So something, whatever you focus on expands. So where you put the focus is where you realistically where the balance is going to come from. So I'll tell you that with everything else that has come in place, I tell people in the beginning, in the times when we were getting married, we used to have those singers, they would tell you, go be the perfect woman. Oh, the singer talk will be for the woman from A to Z. But it's a bit unrealistic. You can't have your cake and eat it. There are bits of me you take and there are bits of me you accommodate. So your wife is waiting for you, knows you're going to do this at 7. You have a podcast to catch up on. So where is the balance? Wow. So the balance will come in things of, as long as when I'm home, I'm not going to be on my phone. That's why you will look for TikTok. I don't have those on my phone. Because I intentionally decided that I'll be better off giving 3 hours when I'm actually present than pretend to give 6 hours when they call you a mom, you're like, yes, okay, it's over there, but you're really on TV, on your phone, even when you're home. So who you'd rather be with? The person who is physically at home but emotionally absent because they are emotionally depleted. So they have nothing more to give. So the balance is there in how we use our time, in how we show up for our loved ones, and how we show up for our careers, because that's where the balance is. Everything that you've decided to do in that moment, now that I'm here, I'm thinking of this podcast. I'll give it 100. I'm not going to show up and be like, oh, okay, no. So that's the balance.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I know some people go for you and be like, no, we have to. Yes, and there's something you mentioned about the colleague that passed on because of stress.
Yeah.
Tony, I'm going to tell you, people who are on all these social media sites.
Yeah.
Everybody these days is an expert. They are going to make you, Tony, think you're missing out. They'll sit in their small basement, their small studios, and make their life appear very elaborative. So a lawyer who's not yet there will look and say, oh my God, there's something I'm not doing right. I think I should go back and do what? But no, look at the people that you're following. Some of those people are just giving you the glitz and the glam. But when they show up in our office, it'll be like, oh, you're also suffering from this. Yeah, they are real people with real life and real blood flowing in their systems. But you've chosen to selectively follow certain people who do not fit in your normal circle of people you want to be proudly associated with. So there is a thing, and in our profession, lawyers feel that they are missing out because of the people how they're feeding their mind. And again, mental health. What they do in their time when they're using their phones. They'll come and listen to people speaking very eloquently, speaking about subjects they are not experts on. They don't know what they're talking about half the time, but then they'll make the other person feel like this world is not worth living. I'm so behind my peers. And then you go in a depression. Then you're stressed. But how do you measure your life? Measure yourself from the baby steps you've taken. See somebody professionally. Then be like, no. I've had colleagues come to me like, oh, I think you're doing so much. No, we are doing the same thing. You're not late. You're actually on time. Measure your success depending on how far you've come, not how the other person is doing. And you know how flamboyant our profession is. The person finishes law school tomorrow, even the day before the graduation, they're already seemingly doing well. I'm going to say seemingly. Because on the outward, they're dressed so well, they're driving a Porsche car, and the other person who is not yet there, even if they're on the same level, will feel like, I'm missing out. So collectively, those are the things in our profession that affects the mental health of people. It's a a wholesome 360. You don't want to look at it just in one angle. Is that how are we doing it as practitioners?
Yeah.
What are we telling people that are following us? Another person, they'll be like, oh, Tony is doing this. Let me rush and go be a tech lawyer. But no, you're doing well where you are. Focus. If tech is not your thing, something else could be your thing. So you find people flipping in careers, flipping in specialities, but because they're trying to keep up with the genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's confusing your brain. And coupled with all that, remember you came to do law because maybe you had to prove a point, maybe you're the breadwinner of your family, you're the first lawyer, or your parents were lawyers and you have to be a lawyer. So come what may, whether this shoe fits, it must fit, however tight it is. So when you come in the real world, you're going to crumble, you're going to crash. And those are the problems that real life lawyers were facing. Then before you know it, you're going to blame the gadget, but because it's you. It's you who is irresponsibly feeding into people's narratives, but your own. So I tend to tell people like, no, you're doing good, Tony. You're doing well where you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
You give a lecture in 5 minutes, which lecture is supposed to be a course unit, so to say. I'm telling you,
Yes.
because these are things which we do not learn from law school. And these are things that are affecting us every day. Because you point out very, very key things. For example, everybody thinks the peer is doing better in one or another. And I think that's how society is structured. The people think Tony is doing better, and Tony thinks Mariam is doing better.
That's why they set our exams like that growing up. They have to mark the scripts and give positions so that you can compete against your peer.
And you also point out, I think for me, for the listeners to take home, the other thing you point out, which is really very, very key, is we no longer have real friends.
Have virtual friends.
We have virtual friends. The other day, not long ago, I was complaining. We used to have colleagues. We sit at Uganda House and do coffee, Mlindo Aloni and Mading, Fad Mading. And so the other day I was saying, man, what's happening? Because now everybody is seemingly too busy. And now we no longer have real friends. And I think some of the things that are affecting us today is that this generation of ours now, men no longer gather as men. And I also believe that women rarely gather as women, maybe in salons, because of this social media thing. We now chat virtually, and then we have
WhatsApp groups.
And we have our own troubles.
Yes.
And I also want to just pound home one key thing which you are sharing, and that is living life which does not actually exist. We are not real.
Yeah. Because we removed the real from the human interaction. What makes you real with the other person? If I was behind, I wouldn't create, we won't establish the rapport with ordinarily well.
Yeah.
But when we are in Uganda and we are within the Kampala, why aren't we physically interacting? Because there's so much you read, then you see my emotion. But if I was saying all this behind a laptop, whether I'm dressed how, you wouldn't see that. You don't know how I'm really doing. Because when somebody tells you, how are you doing? Everybody normally says, I'm fine. But when they are not fine, and that's why we get shocked when someone says, oh, so-and-so was stressed. Yes, they are stressed. Because nobody is actually intentionally wanting to know how you're doing. Have you ever seen you say, how are you doing? Before even you say, I'm fine, somebody's already taking it for granted. The next question.
Yeah.
They're not asking that question with that intentionality of knowing, Tony, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Then you take a pause and allow the other person to say, oh my God, do you know how I got here? The traffic was bad. You're able to really go into exactly how you're feeling. Otherwise, when I just say, I'm fine, and in our culture, we are people who, even when you've had bad service, say in a restaurant, or the lawyer did not serve well the customer, But when someone, you asked, how was the food? Your first thing is fine. Even when you know that it lacked salt, it lacked all the ingredients, rarely do we say everything is okay kind of people.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to Advocate Mbabali Mariam, Managing Partner, Kabuzire Mbabali and Company Advocates. And Mbabali has so many leaves to pick from. Not long ago, Mbabali stood for...
Hey, we are still standing.
And she's still standing. Please keep that vote. And never forget when that
Judicial
fight comes. Judicial Service Commission.
You've even forgotten.
Not long ago, and we are keeping the light burning. We hope one day the ground should become up to level, and we move to that direction. Mariam, you have given us 1 hour, and our 1 hour is long spent. But it would be very un-Christian of me, very unfair of me, if I do not answer questions that have been sent out.
Oh, okay.
So I am going to keep them short, okay, and I want to read them as they are. So hold up your breath, and we get down to questions. This show normally takes 2 hours. We are truncating it to 1 hour. So
I'll come back.
Okay. Question number 1, which has been sent in by Martha from Makerere University. Ask Advocate Mariam, is the legal profession, in your view, adequately aware of psychological dimensions of AI integration, or this is a blind spot in how we are approaching the transition? This must be a tech
Yes.
lawyer. The other question is
Maybe
from
you ask while I answer.
so you
Yes, that I don't lose
unfortunately you
matters.
have like 7 questions so far.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll answer
very
them.
quick.
So that's that person who asked that question is really paying attention to the reality. The thing is, we get a feeling like we stumbled into the tech and the law thing. I don't think the stakeholders internalized the effects, but we are a society that things happen very fast. Like people were saying, just as we are still following up Okelo's case, then we went to something else.
Exactly.
So that's the feeling I get when the way we started with ECMIS. Yes, it's a work in process, but let's go. We shall see. It will get better as we go. The way we become the guinea pigs of the very system that we want to solve.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, then we leave behind a lot of casualties. Because I'll give you an example with the tech and how it was used in the trial of Okello. Nobody cared about the mental health of the parents, of the person who was on the stand, of the judge who was presiding. Everybody was in total oblivion. But guess what? We have to air it. We are doing tech. We have all this tech. We are ready to go. Open court, the way it was aired. But these are issues that some things still behind chambers, so that you protect the victims. So imagine if you're having open court in a rape case, because we have the tech. That wouldn't be fair. So somebody needs to put a human sense in how we are using the tech tools. So in my opinion, there's a big blind spot. There's no empathy. People are all, we are in a dog world. Everybody just is fighting to be relevant in the time in which they've come. But nobody is stopping to feel like, this person, you need to stop and let them be hugged. It's a murder case. Everybody has to make an assumption. Even the judge can't have a break. You know what I mean? With a lot of critiques in the media, in social media, so many cartoons, so you're bound to be guilty, by the public even before a ruling is passed. But that is the irresponsibility, the downside of how people are using tech, and how we did not see that we needed to put the human side. So I think it's still work in progress.
Work in progress is what Mariam says. As you realize, as come 1st July, we are going paperless. Our courts are going paperless for those that are on ECMIS. And what Mariam is saying is that, are we ready? Are we, as this system, catered for the mental health of the witnesses, of the accused, of the parents, of the friends? And she picks up an example of the recent Okello case. And many of us will appreciate that that's one blind spot we never paid attention to, because after all, we have not paid attention to mental health. And let us just go to the next question, which has been brought in by Vela, and it says, how do you assess the particular pressures facing the legal practitioners in developing economies, including East Africa, as they navigate this transition compared to practitioners in better resourced jurisdictions?
Yes, I think we've always used that comparison. And me, I always believe you're comparing apples with oranges.
Yeah.
So you want the apple to quickly become an orange. No, put so many factors into consideration. That's why I said, don't measure success based on somebody who wasn't limping at that time you were limping.
Yeah.
Look at, we are just adopting the secondary new curriculum.
Yeah.
We are testing tools, but
Yeah.
you're comparing it with a rural person who hasn't yet even used a phone to study.
True.
Now you're telling them, you have to use a computer. No, they can't even afford the phone.
Exactly.
So we cannot selectively say we are going to look at ourselves with other economies which can fend for even their what? Their citizens. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we are doing well from where we started. So depending on where you're standing, you're supposed to measure your success based on where you started. So you want to look at the developing countries. We usually like comparing ourselves to the next door. But the Kenyans, yes. When the last time they had a war? When the last time they've been stable for so long? Right now we're still suffering from people just coming to do projects because now we have Ebola. So you can't compare yourself with somebody who hasn't even had that experience.
Yeah.
So I think we are doing well. Baby steps.
Baby steps is what Mariam is saying. We are doing well. Nsi yetu twala kusubiri na yesi wabi. Literally saying.
From where we started.
So we also have a question that has come in from Wilbrod from Bereire, and it says, where do you draw the line between appropriate reliance on AI tools and the kind of automation bias that puts practitioners and clients at risk? How should that line be codified in the professional conduct rules?
What's the question asking?
It says, where do you draw the line?
Where do the line of professional conduct?
Where do you draw the line between appropriate reliance on tools and the kind of automation bias that puts practitioners and clients at risk? And how should that line be codified in professional conduct rules? I guess what
I think I get the question. Because I was suffering with, just to understand, I've been suffering with that one as well.
Yeah.
These days, did you know that people come to court and they're recording you? The clients are taking out their phones. Everybody's using their phone. Did you give your authority to be recorded? Do you know where that content is going? So the same way, you're in a meeting, the client is recording or the other party is recording. And before you know it, because you're not saying what they need to hear, because there's always somebody. There's a defendant and there's a plaintiff. Yeah. Everybody is holding their cards to their chest.
Yeah.
So where do we draw the line? Is what that person is saying. Unfortunately, we have to draw from our laws. Yeah. From the policies that were drawn. So now we are using the E. We say, we are adopting WhatsApp is applicable, everything is applicable. But how are we applying them? What are my rights? After you've exposed me. What's my rights? Can I stop you from using your gadget to record me and use me as you deem fit because you're holding your own phone? So the practitioners and their own clients, That is the flex. And again, this is a new thing. Whenever there's a new thing, it takes time. It's like that when you had, back in the day when we had those, when your parent bought you a new dress. You're excited. You want to wear it even before Christmas.
Yeah.
I think tech is one of those things where we have to wear it before Christmas. But we have to be told how to tie the ball, how to there have to be parameters in which we exercise our freedom and how we're using the tools at large.
Wow.
And we are still work in progress.
Thank you. Mariam hits 1 6-inch nail this way, then soothes you this way. I love that. Maybe she because she's the mother. But I think for me, if I'm to take it raw and organic, Mariam puts a very clear position that the current policies should be able to factor in mental health, because there are those silent cries that you are busy defending client A and plaintiff B is actually recording. So you're in court, but you're actually mentally disturbed. And
just to understand how even the whole court system is running. It's running on a judge who yesterday had a murder case. Today she's hearing, or he is hearing, say, a defilement case. They haven't yet processed their feelings.
Yeah, I hear
you. Don't know how they were raised. Some of those cases actually trigger some of those people.
Yeah.
The court users and the people who come, the practitioners.
Exactly.
So even the practitioner, it's not realistic. When do you offload and download the emotions? Like, you can't catch up. Like, if I asked you, Tony, what matter did you handle today? Is it the same as you handled yesterday? But they all come with different emotions. But how do you reset that brain?
Yeah.
How do you protect yourself? As a client is telling you their story, you're like, I once had this case and it stayed on me. I had 2 cases that really stayed on me.
Yeah.
There was a defilement case of a 6-year-old, and I was vehemently defending the mother. And then, behind my back, the person that we had put behind bars was busy trying to mediate with the family. This is defilement of a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And then the mother came to me, Mother, as you're doing that, but they're giving us 20 million. We have to remove this thing, madam. They're giving us 3 million as a deposit. The child will be okay. So before you've caught up with all those feelings, of course they settled. But then after that, she calls and says, but they are paying me badly, the 20 million. But is it even your case? This child has now grown.
Yeah.
And now the child becomes a lawyer all the way to the judge. And then they are listening to a case that represents who they are.
Exactly.
And they are triggered. And they carry childhood trauma all through their careers, and then they interact with people who represent exactly who they are, how they were raised, and it all comes full frontal for them. And they were not prepared. So nobody is prepared. So once you go with your mental health not in check and just get your file and go to court, even before your case is heard and you're just sitting in listening to other cases before you'll be like, oh my God. So we are all still being schooled.
Wow. I think you put up a very, very key point, which for me is very, very imperative. At our level, we should also know what triggers us.
Yeah.
We should also accept that we should not chase all the money. Mm-hmm. If I know for a fact that somebody murdered my father brutally, if I'm a judge, I should be in a position to say, I think I am already conflicted.
But the thing is, you won't know. If you haven't had the work, if you haven't done the work, you haven't done therapy, you haven't addressed, those became your response buttons. You're reacting to your emotions rather than sitting with it and dealing with the issue, so that when it shows up, you can identify it.
Wow.
So most people don't know what that is.
So you don't sometimes get to know that you have these triggers until you go through them.
Until you professionally do the work.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to Advocate Mariam Mbabali. She wants to kill me. It's her birthday.
I need to go and bougie with it.
She needs to go and
There's
have
no music
the
here.
mental health
You know,
so that you people don't eat up her mental health. She has
Yes.
come teach about mental health, and you are finishing, ruling up mental health. So let me just do one last question.
Yes.
There are so many questions.
hope the readers have
some
benefited.
of them I will definitely just have to
Yes.
send them.
Pick one more.
I'm just going to pick basically two. This one has come from a man called Ongodia. Must be from the eastern Uganda. It says, what would a genuinely effective institutional mental health policy for a law firm deploying AI tools look like in practice? And what have you seen work? That's one question. Let me give you all of them at once so that you mind them up. Number 2, Uganda's Law Council and East African Law Society do not yet have specific guidance on AI in legal practice. What would you recommend as the most urgent priorities for the guidance from a mental health and ethics perspective?
Those are two brilliant questions, and
Yeah.
I'll answer them together. One, I think they needed to make a call on policy. When the law comes in place, I think as practitioners, it's our duty to incorporate the tech into our firms, into how we, like I would ask you, Tony, do you have a tech policy here?
We do.
And what has been your benchmark? Have you been, you drew out based on the law?
Exactly.
But because when things are new, people do not, we are a precedent kind of environment.
Yeah.
So you're going in all gloves off. Then when it comes to mental health, hardly do people have policies on mental health. Few people are starting now to say we have policies, and how they go about it is not how you would. In high productive professions, the bankers, they have long hours, the lawyers, the doctors, they should have an in-person mental health person that someone can take a break and go check in with their what?
Yeah.
I'm one of the people who believe I wish the courts also had a therapist on standby, a counselor on standby in family division, for example, so that they can support the practitioners and support the people, the court users as well. So I think even when one person does their policy and they are interacting with the other person who has no clue of how that looks like, then it's a jungle.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think we should enforce it, put it from the way we do CLE, then some of the things should come from the bottom up and become infused into our practice and our way of life as lawyers.
Over to you, Mr. President Isaac Kimeze Semakade. Advocate says we need to look at these policies. We need to infuse some of these key issues. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the tail end of this discussion, and our panelist today is none other than Advocate Mariam Mbabali. Mariam Mbabali is a candidate for Judicial Service Commission anytime the window opens. Mariam Mbabali equally is a co-founder and co-owner of Drip and Dry Cleaners.
Oh, you had to
so
say that.
Your jackets, your suits, don't them not wrinkle.
Yes.
Take them to drip and dry. And when you tell them that I got this advert from Lego Tech Dialogues, they will give you a discount, I guess.
Yes,
but
they're discount for
as
lawyers.
lawyers, of course, you'll be contributing to her mental health. By the way, when you
Thank you. When
take
the
it
pockets
drip
are full.
and dry, when the pockets are full, yeah.
And I can afford the therapist.
Yeah. So she's also the founder of the Empathy Well.
Yes, that's where we do the therapy.
Briefly, tell us about the Empathy Well so that we know where to run when our mental health is deteriorating.
Empathy Well is where I do my practice in trauma, and we use trauma-informed tools. So we support families, individuals like yourselves and the audience listening to us, just to navigate the day-to-day and learn to deal with some of the things that manifest in their lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to wind this up with basically a patch up. And I think our take homes, number one, is that this thing called work-life balance is a sham, according to Advocate Mbabali.
Should be taken in doses,
but
not
should be
completely
taken
a
in
sham.
doses. And her school of thought is that utilize each and every portion
Yeah.
and give it your all.
Yes.
If you are with your family, put the gadgets away, give it your all.
Yes.
If you decide to come to chambers as early as 6 and know that this is my window for work, give it your all.
Yes.
And the relaxing room is not TikTok, is not your
Go
actual.
out and stretch.
Go out and
the old
stretch.
school way. Yes.
Old school style. Go meet friends, old school style. Yeah? Let us have that bottle of wine once in a while with colleagues.
Yes.
And it
And
matters.
share love.
And share love. So to
Get
say.
get the conversation off WhatsApp groups and go physical.
Yeah. And when you are depressed and it is really, you can't handle it anymore, why not try the empathy well?
We are
Find
here.
somebody to speak to.
Yes.
Because sometimes men, we hold a lot. And when it comes to lawyers, have you known that the biggest drinkers are lawyers?
Yeah.
And people think we do that because we have a lot of money. We
because-
actually don't do that because we have a lot of money. It's because we are dealing with a lot of shit. In the mornings, you are dealing with the person whose child was raped. In the next hour, the wife is divorcing a man whose bill has been battering her. The
the
next
afternoon, the
minute,
land is being
an old
grabbed.
woman has lost her land because she had no title. So, ladies and gentlemen, one last patch. And this is going to be
This
the
should be the
closing
last.
patch for this discussion.
Yes.
It is men's mental what?
Yeah. Men's mental health week.
Men's Mental Health Week. To the gentlemen who are on this call and are very excited, please, what is that parting word for the boy child? You know, the boy child has been neglected a lot. And once you give us that, we will be able to sing happy birthday and we will be able to have you out. Thank you very much, Miriam.
I think I'll tell a boy child, society has not forgotten you. Most of the advice is given to us, the women. We are the ones who know how to take care of our homes, of our spouses, and then you're not told how to take care of yourself. So you don't have to always be strong. You don't have to always be strong. You don't always have to match up with your woman. You could be in a household where the woman earns more, and that should be okay. So you don't have to be the macho. That's what I'll tell. It's okay to be you. Once in a while, remember you are also once a mommy's boy.
Wow.
So it's okay. Hug yourself more.
Thank you very much, Advocate Mbabali. Ladies and gentlemen, it is okay.
Yes.
It's okay to cry a bit. It's okay to also need a hug. It's okay for you to
not have it all together.
Yeah, not
at
to
the
have
same
money
time.
every day.
Yeah.
And we can't go beyond this. I just want to thank everybody who has tuned in today and listened to us, Lego Tech Dialogues. This is a platform where we share these ideas in the Lego fraternity. It's a platform where we identify those unique areas of practice which people have not paid attention to, and most of the times areas that have not taught in law school, and areas that impact on our day-to-day living. Advocate Mariam, it was a pleasure hosting you,
Pleasure
and we
was
look
mine.
forward to hosting you again. Thank you very, very much, and we want to wish you a happy birthday.
Okay,
Thank you.
let
and,
me go dine.
Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, let us have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and remember to check on your mental health.
Thank you so much.